'94 World Cup was huge in terms of what it did to the United States in terms of exposing soccer to a culture that was pretty naive to the game when it's played at its highest level. For people to see the passion that exists when a World Cup's played, the athleticism, the excitement of a World Cup game, for a lot of people it was the first time they'd ever experienced that with regards to soccer. And so literally overnight, the culture of soccer in the United States changed.
This game has got to be over. There hasn't been really many... There it is! There it is!
I think when the final whistle blew against Colombia, and we had achieved this goal that we had set out for ourselves to get to the next round and done something historic and done it in an incredible way, beating a team that everybody favored to go deep into the Cup. There was an incredible sense of relief and accomplishment, and everybody went crazy.
You know what, we knew we had to at least get a tie out of that, and to come out and get a goal right away like that, off a mistake of them, you kind of just felt that things might go our way a little bit.
And then, knowing that, okay, we got Brazil next, I think it was one of those situations where everybody was kind of like, this is going to be amazing, it's going to be great, why not prove ourselves in a World Cup against, the most, known and powerful team probably in soccer. So, yeah, it was going to be a little scary. We knew we had a challenge in front of us, but, why not? Why couldn't we be the David against the Goliath?
Finding out that Brazil was nervous to play us because we're playing on 4th of July, and this whole day of, independence, and they were a little nervous to play us. All of a sudden you start thinking to yourself, you know what? We got a shot.
The longer the game went, the tougher I think it was on the Brazilians, and if we could just sneak a goal or get one opportunity to finish it, then Brazil would have been in real trouble.
Keep in mind that the second half, Brazil started with 10 players only because one of their players had been sent off for elbowing Tab Ramos on the head in a way that we caught on camera, and was absolutely the most frightening injury I've ever seen on television.
I don't think we ever really recovered from that, because Tab was one of the guys we can give the ball to and he would make something happen.
So it was a good performance. We held our own against Brazil.
It was very impressive. I mean, any day you play Brazil, you're expecting to get a whipping. And they held them to a 1-0 victory, and it was very good.
Baby steps, into the future. So we get to the point where the U.S. is basically the great team that everyone looks up to.
And we love to kick ourselves for what we haven't done, and the fact is we also have to pat ourselves on the back for what we have done, because it's pretty incredible. And if the next 10 years is anything like this past 10 years, the sky's the limit. We'll win a World Cup. We definitely will. I mean, it's going to happen.
Coming up next, we'll show you why one American soccer star was willing to give up the shirt off her back literally. When we return, the top 2 moments in our American Soccer Countdown. Welcome back, everyone. The Rose Bowl has been the site of 2 World Cup championship matches, and both have been decided by penalty kicks. You just saw what happened with the men in 1994 as Brazil held off Italy. And then in 1999, the U.S. women and their opponents from China also went down to the wire. Here now is the penultimate greatest moment in American soccer.
Goal! This is America's team.
The 1999 Women's World Cup, I believe, was a once-in-a-lifetime experience where the planets aligned just so perfectly.
Let's be honest, I think everybody stepped up and took notice, not only of just soccer, but women's soccer and women's sports in general.
The women have been so instrumental in the progression of this sport and the growth of this sport, as much, if not more so, in certain instances, than anything the men have done.
I remember going into 1999, I brought it up at an editorial meeting at ESPN, the magazine. We were discussing how much coverage to give the Women's World Cup. And there wasn't really much interest, and I said, I think Mia Hamm should be on our cover. We've never had a woman on the cover of ESPN, the magazine. And it was like, good idea, but just don't believe this is going to be that big an event.
They were targeting little stadiums at first, and then fortunately the World Cup organizing committee, had the courage to go to the big stadiums, and in hopes that we would fill them.
We just thought the time was right. We went to FIFA and said we think it can be done in big stadiums all over the country. They, I think, looked at us and said, "You guys are crazy Americans, but since you're going to take the risk, not us, okay, good luck, go do it." And thank God we did it.
Not only for us, the U.S. team, but the Danish team felt that way as well. They're like, holy cow. We've been to men's games. We've seen men's World Cups. And never did we think that in our playing days we would be a part of something like this.
It wasn't like, oh gosh, we're here, what are we going to do now? It was like this big grin. Like, this is how we pictured it. It's not a surprise. This is how we knew this World Cup would turn out. And then Brandi gets naked, and, the rest is history.
When I look at Brandi's moment, I think it really sums up what that tournament was about and the feelings. All of them, big deal about the sports bra. To us, I jog in a sports bra, so it's like, what's the big deal?
I've always said that if I had a stomach like that, I'd walk around all the time without a shirt on.
But it's just one moment. It's one moment in a plethora of other moments that made that moment happen.
It was just a spontaneous goal celebration that became something else, and I think that anybody who watched that game and who knows soccer knows that the defining moment of that game was Christine Lilly keeping the ball out of the U.S. net, clearing the head with her head.
The ball was played in the box and it went over Bryce's hands, and the Chinese player headed it towards the back post, and there's Christine Lilly, and you're like, holy crap, we're in this thing.
And we both kind of just laughed, because it was, what else can you do? It's like, we just saved the ball, and then I'm just like, let's just get out of here. It's like, just go.
Well, I think the thing with 99 is what was most satisfying to the players is people just didn't think we were going to pull it off.
I think after it was over, we realized we carried a little bit more than just winning. We kind of broke different standards in society on women's sports.
I would suspect that it wouldn't happen in Brazil. Wouldn't even happen in a place like Italy. But the United States is so unique in terms of the big event and also the women's movement, if you will.
I know there are women on every team that competed in that tournament that went home and said and demanded more from their federation.
Well, as great as I think some of our young female players are going to be, I don't think we'll ever duplicate, sad to say, that 1999 moment. But there's nothing wrong with that. It was a great moment, and we can cherish it and watch it on ESPN Classic forever.
Now, Heather, what did that victory and obviously Brandi Chastain's unorthodox celebration do for women's soccer in this country?
Well, that day definitely set a point in time for the women's soccer team. The WSA evolved from it. I was sitting in the stands with the under-21 national team. I've never been so inspired in my life. The celebration was spectacular, and the way that women won that game will forever be remembered in time.
Still ahead, as American soccer's 10 greatest moments continues, a look at some of the history between the American national team and our amigos just south of the border, including the finest hour to date for Team USA.